Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, or whenever it is that you're tuning in to today. My name is Jonathan Bangle, and I'm the host of Naked Tax Talk, where babies wear bear down to the naked truth about our personal lives, our business lives, and of course, our money and tax lives. You know, I'm always asked, Jonathan, why do you have to always show up naked on your show? Well, the truth is naked is about being courageous. Nakedness is about being authentically who we are, standing in our truth. At the end of the day, it's like RuPaul says, we're all born naked, and the rest is drag. So today I'm flying solo. That's right, I'm here solito by myself. But if you are watching, I encourage the comments. I encourage you to give me some feedback. Make it interactive. Let's make it fun, right? This could be a one-way conversation or it could be a two-way. You know, I'm definitely polyamorous. So with that, I wanted to, this has been on my mind actually for a few weeks. And today's topic is actually about how we follow our intuition and how powerful our intuition is that will propel us into powerful profits in our lives. But before I do, though, I'm switching up things just a little bit, and I want to get to the topic of tax questions. So if you're watching the show live right now and you do have a tax question, I encourage you to ask it. And I will be more than happy to answer those questions for you. Of course, I will tell you right now that I am not practicing as a tax consultant or advisor or attorney or anything like that right now. This is just strictly for information, and you should not rely upon this advice. You should seek it out from somebody else. But I digress. Let's get to the topic at hand. You know, I get asked this question all the time. Jonathan, how and when should I file 1099s? That's right, 1099s. This comes up all the time. How many of you out there right now are watching the show and you are a business owner and you get this all the time, right? When should you file your 1099s or when you should receive them, right? Well, let me first tell you what the hell that is. So a 1099 represents essentially the receiver of the benefit from a tax perspective. So what I mean by this is it could be interest income, it could be dividend income, it could be capital gains, it could be the forgiveness of debt, it could be interest that, I just said that interest that we received, rents that we receive, royalties that we receive, but you're getting the idea, right? It's all about the income as it's coming in and you've received it throughout the year. And that's the summary of income that you have earned in those various modules. However, for today, I'm going to address the topic of 1099s as it relates to your business, right? So we're talking about your business first. So in business, all right, we have to understand something about Uncle Sam or governments in general. And that is that on one side, the company that deducts the expense on their books, your profit and loss statement, the expense that is deducted from the revenue that you tried to create in order to create a profit, all right, someone has got to pay taxes on that. So it's kind of like double entry accounting for us nerds out there, right? So on one hand, I pay out to a contractor. So for example, as a tax specialist, as a coach, as a business profit tax coach extraordinaire, as an author, as a speaker, right? I contract other people that are not my employees. Let's not get confused. An employee is somebody that I have total, utter control in my business. That's right. I bring out the riding crop and I'm like the mister in the room and I'm like, get to work. You say, yes, sir. Right back to me. Do this at this time. Get on your knees right now. Look up at me, right? That's your contractor. You're telling them what to do. Bend over, take a lashing, right? That's you controlling somebody. That is like in a BDSM conversation right now, okay? That's me being in power and you doing the job, all right? That's control. And in business, we call that employee and the employer relationship. That is not an independent contractor. Hi, Mom. I can't believe you're going to hear this conversation today. And The thing is that when it's an independent contractor, it's like being in a relationship with someone that you care about. It's like being in a mutual benefit for one another. I'm doing something in exchange for you, and you're doing something in exchange for me. And what we're exchanging is currency. I'm receiving money from you for doing the benefit, and I'm giving you money, if it's the reverse, to provide a benefit for me. Independent contractor, I cannot control you. So with that, that's what a 1099 independent contractor is. All right. So here's the dealio, Emilios. Here are the rules for most people who receive a 1099. If I pay an independent contractor, okay, again, someone is doing the job for me that I do not control. And in this case, it could be my tax planners, it could be tax preparers, it could be bookkeepers, it's whomever I'm using. It could be my marketing team, right? It could be my production team. The point is I'm paying them. The moment I've paid them more than $600, so $600 even, the more I step beyond that, I'm required to issue them a 1099. But what we have to receive, though, or what we give the recipient, is a form called a W-9. A W-9. So here's what happens. Good business practice. We enter a contract together to do business with one another. And I, as the person who's hiring you to do the job, I'm going to give you a W-9. The W-9, you're going to fill it out, the recipient, and you're going to send it back to me with your information, your business name, and your EIN. You don't have an EIN. You're using your Social Security. The point is that we need that, because at the end of the year, I'm going to issue you the 1099. But more importantly, I'm also giving it to the government. It's for their records, right? This is how Uncle Sam, on many levels, knows how much money you're making. So that's left to us, the employee, the business owner, to issue out this W-9. We get it back. We issue you a 1099, especially if you made more than $600. Now, there's a small little catch to this rule, and that is it's for my lovely attorneys out there. So for all my attorneys right now, right, this is how it works. The moment I spend 1 penny on an attorney, I'm going to get a W-9 from them and issue them a 1099, even if it's for a penny. Yeah, that's right. It turns out, I think it was in 2014 or 13, it was around there in the teens, and the IRS had done this study on lawyers. Maybe it was earlier than that. Maybe it was like in the late, like 07, 8, 9, around there. I can't remember. The point is, they did a study, and they found that attorneys were notorious at not reporting their income, all of it. And so they said, that's it. All attorneys, you get a penny, you're going to report it. So we're going to report it, right? We become the agent to report it. We're doing our due diligence to do that, right? Otherwise, everybody else, $600 is the magic number. Everything above that, I'm going to issue you a 1099. Now, I will tell you, in 2020, it changed. 2020, it's now for non-employee compensation. I think the form is called a 1099 NEC, because again, the IRS was trying to simplify and was realizing that, did you guys know, have you guys been paying attention? But there was this huge boom out there, big, huge boom out there called the gig economy. So all of a sudden, we went from driving our own cars to hiring Uber and hiring Lyft, or we went from like having people do our other jobs on the side, or going to Fiverr, going to here, going to there, right? The gig economy blew up. And so people are going, oh, you're an independent contractor. And so what happened now is you get all these people making all this money, but it's not really being reported and blah, 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 blah. So did you guys know, I think it was in 2016 around there, that the IRS put on the tax return the following question: did you conduct business? I'm paraphrasing. Did you conduct business that would require you to issue a 1099. And then you got to say yes or no. And then underneath that says, will you or have you filed that 1099? I'm going to tell you guys something right now. As an IRS enrolled agent, I can tell you that when you sign off on that tax return, when the preparer is signing off on that tax return, they are attesting to the truth. They are attesting to the validity of the truth of what you're reporting. So if you're saying on there, nope, didn't do business that would require a 1099, even though I hired all these people to do all these side gigs for me, you can only guess what could happen to you. Knock, knock. You said that you did not have 1099, that you were issuing them out, and as a result, you wouldn't have issued any. But we noticed that you had a whole bunch of contractors and a lawyer that you hired, and you didn't issue one of those 1099s. Guess what, buddy? You're going to issue them. All right, number one. Number two, you're going to pay some penalties on that because you should have known better, right? So you are actually attesting to the validity of that return. Did you guys know that? It's on the tax returns now. Have you conducted business that require you to file a 1099? And will you and have you submitted those? When is the deadline? The recipient that receives the 1099, you have to have it in their hands by January 31st. So that's like in a week and a few days away. But you got to have that 1099 in the recipient's hands. And it also gets reported to the IRS as well by that due date. Why? Well, because the government right now, believe it or not, behind the scenes, is calculating all the income that you've earned. Yeah. And it's relying upon us to report it. It's relying upon the W-2s that you would have issued to yourself and to others, potentially, if you're a corporation, S corporation, right? So it's relying upon all these forms that are coming in. That's why it gives us to January 31st, because that's what we're all doing right now, all us accountants. And then in February, Uncle Sam says, okay, you can begin to process, but we're not going to process it until I think it's the 12th or the 15th of this year. But the point is that's what's happening on the back end. Boring. I know, but that is the geek in me, and that is the truth. So 1099s over $600 to people that I have them do things for me that I do not have control. Let me put it a different way. When we hire, for example, when you hire a professional like ourselves, tax planners, business profit tax coach extraordinaires like myself, right? You are not going to tell us how to do the job. You don't tell us when I'm going to pay you. You don't tell me how much you're going to pay me per hour, right? You don't say any of that stuff, right? You just come to us and you go, here's my issue. I don't know what entity I should select. I'm buying rental property. Do I put it into separate LLCs? Do I form a holding company? Do I form a management company? I just started my business and I have losses. Am I going to get in trouble? Right? When you come to us to solve those problems, you're not telling us how to do that, to solve that problem, right? That's independent. But if I was your employee and you hired me for a job, you would be saying to me, Jonathan, this is the outcome I expect. This is what we pay per hour. You're going to come into work every morning at 9 a.m. and you're going to leave at 5 p.m., Monday through Friday. You get the weekends off if you're lucky, and you're even double lucky if we give you paid sick time off. Independent contractor, different conversation. They're going to propose the fees. They're going to propose the investment. And then you're going to let them go do their job. And a week, 2 weeks later, they're going to call you up like we did one of our clients. And we're going to say, guess what? We're going to save you $11,000 this year in taxes. Doesn't seem like a lot of money, but $11,000 goes a long way. So that's the thing, right? That's the difference. Independent. More than $600. Now, here's a little bit of if I may throw a little bit of a wrench. And that is if I pay the contractor through a third-party merchant processor, so I'm talking like PayPal, Square, Cash App, I think there's like Venmo, I can't remember thinking, but if I'm paying with another QuickBooks merchant processor, your Chase merchant processor, your any other processors to process your Moomoo when it comes in, okay? Here's the dealio, Emilio. they're going to, they meaning the processors, are going to issue you guys a 1099K, a 1099K, kicking the balls. That's what they're going to issue you, a 1099K. Now, if I turn around and I issue you also a 1099 and you're getting a 1099K, you might have a double up on the income. A double up on the income. So when you go file your tax return and you only list the income you brought in, send it off to Uncle Sam, he's going to come back and go, but wait a minute, LaWanda, wait a minute now, wait a minute. According to the records, you have more money in revenue you earned. So this is why not only when we receive our 1099s, we should reconcile it against the merchant processors and against the known income that we've brought in. This will then allow us to report the proper income to the IRS. Plain and simple. I went on a tangent there, but the point is over $600. So if I'm paying by credit card to a contractor, all right, I may not necessarily need to get away with issuing them a 1099, knowing that the processor will probably issue them a 1099K. But if you wanted to ask me and double up and be extra protected, I probably would go through and issue that 1099 anyways. And then the business owner's responsibility is to reconcile it so that they can capture the double entry of the doubling up of the income. All right. That is my topic on 1099s. Do we got it? Can I get an amen? If you're watching right now, give me a thumbs up. Let me know. Give me, shout out, do something. Let me know that you got it. 1099 for contractors that are independent that I don't have control over. All right. That's it. Now, I'm going to change the tone and the direction. I want to talk to you guys about this thing called intuition. Following your intuition, following your gut, following your spirit, following that sometimes the inner voice, which sometimes can be a little negative, but I digress, following your inner voice, your inner light, your inner being of who you are, following that and allowing it to guide you. How do we do that? Well, I don't know if I have a personal answer to that, other than sometimes it takes ourselves to sit back and to really kind of begin to feel everything that's around us, to begin to really look about and ask ourselves, why do I feel off? Why do I feel icky? Why do I feel like what I'm trying to accomplish is not moving forward for me? I'm going to share a personal story with you. For a while, I've been really trying to figure out how to restructure my business. And I have, thanks to the help of my coaches, to Patty, to Chevelle, who have stood with me and have helped me to guide me so that I can, in fact, change the model of my business. I used to just be the guy that you would call up and say, hey, I need my taxes done. How much? And then I, not believing in my value or my worth, would say, oh, yeah, a couple $100. Not a problem. Do it for you. And then I would do the tax return and I'd spend 4 or 5 hours on one simple tax return and still make $200. And I'd still look in my wallet and I'd still wonder, how was I going to make payroll? How was I going to pay the rent here for this building? Right? How am I going to go home? And when my husband says to me, I want to go on a road trip, how am I going to pay for that? And what I realized is that I knew some of the answer, but I didn't have it fully in front of me. And God, the universe, whatever our inner being, that higher power out there, the whole entire time is going, we are tapped in, we are tuned in to you. And we are sending you literally people and events so that you can become the light that you are, so that you can change the way that you do business, so that you can create the profits, so that you can create financial happiness. Now, I know this sounds selfish. For my happiness, for my profit, for my business. But let me share this thought with you. In the beginning, it is about ourselves. Let's be naked for a moment. It is about your well-being. It is about your ability to pay for your things. It is about you. That's the truth. And when we finally step into who we are, tune in to our intuition, and allow spirit to guide us, now we can turn around and help those around us, to help those who are trying to accomplish the same exact goals that every single one of us is trying to achieve. And friends, what that is, it's happiness. We're all trying to remove ourselves from a state of being unpleasant, from a state of doubt, from a state of fear, from a state of the unknown into happiness. There are so many other words for happiness. We can use the word light, peace, security, knowing, knowledge. There's so many words that describe one singular point, happiness. And it's about tuning into who we are, what we were meant to be in this world. And what happens is sometimes self-doubt will step in. That's what's happening to me. Struggling to figure this all out. Am I doing this the right way? Okay, you know what? I'll follow that person's advice. Oh, I know. I'll go YouTube it and I'll figure out what they say. Oh, I know. I'll listen to podcasts. All great things, by the way. And thanks to one of my very first coaches, Iman Agay, who said out loud to all his students, to me, and now I share with you, every day, listen to something positive in the morning. It's what I do now. Intuition guides us. It's subtle. It's not overt. It's not like a huge red light standing in front of you. Okay, maybe, but I digress. Like, it's not overt. It's covert. It's in here. It's inside the heart. It's inside your mind. It's inside the being of who you are that no one actually gets to see but you. So I had this feeling of like, where am I going with all this? And the universe sent me my first amazing friend. And she calls me up and she says, you know what, Jonathan, I want to do more for you. How can I do more for you? And it got me thinking, yeah, how can you do more for me? I'm at the level now where if I don't understand something quite just yet, I'm not willing to put forth my foot, the energy, the time, the commitment, the money, until I understand the basics. That's where I'm at now. When I can understand the basics, then I will move in and pay more for the value for what I see. That's the level I'm at. So universe goes, first person, what can I do for you? Do some more for you. And then another person came on. She called me up. Jonathan, I want to put you on more stages. I want to put you on more podcasts. I want the world to fall in love with you. Then I got a third call. Jonathan, we need to get the word out there. Put you on Facebook, LinkedIn, and everywhere else. And do this and do that and be the fabulous you. Honest to goodness, I felt like I was being I was being torn apart into 3 different directions. And the analogy that I would end up coming up with my coach Patty is that I felt like in 2020, I was gearing up my spaceship to launch me into outer space, to launch me into the unknown, right? As Star Trek says, right? To go where no one has gone before. That's what I felt 2020 was all about. Taking me to the next level, taking me out so that I knew how to have a heart-based conversation like my other coach, Dr. Charlene, teaches, to have a heart-based conversation with those coming in, seeking a solution to their problem. That was 2020. And discovering my value and my worth of who I am today. And so, needless to say, I'm torn apart in 3 different directions in a spaceship. I know I want to get to, I think, Alpha Centauri, but the spaceship is just spinning in space, going like this. 3 different thrust panels coming out. Man. And you know what happened? I got stuck. I couldn't think, couldn't do my job, couldn't do my marketing, couldn't have conversations. I was just stuck in the mud. And then, because of my coach, my guide, that the higher power sent me, so let's call them all together. Let's bring them all together under one roof and share with them your goals, your dreams, your ideas, and allow them to support you, to hold you, to carry you, and to make your reality, your dreams, your reality. And I loved that because every single one of us is business owners. Yes, it is about the money. Yes, it is about the profit. Let's be real here. Let's not disguise it. But it's also about helping others to achieve their goals, to helping others to achieve their sense of happiness. Because that's what every single one of us bring to the table as entrepreneurs, is our sense of happiness, what has worked for us that creates happiness in our lives and in yours. And so I did. I had the meeting, we talked, hashed it out. Now we have a great plan. My team told me, and I'm going to tell you guys right now, Jonathan, you open your mouth, talk about your course. That's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to drop my course. Rapid Tax Savings Formula. Rapid Tax Savings Formula, I created this. It's been years in the making, actually. But we launched it. We officially launched it. I want to say the first round was back in December. And I had what we call the beta students. We had my beta students. I think we had 4 or 5 of them. And it was a beta. We figured it out, how things work, things I'm going to say, da-da-da-da-da. We launched it again because it was success. Rapid Tax Formula 2.0. More students, 11 students this time. And of course, it got better and better and better. And I realized that when I was trying to do what others told me to do, how to structure my class, how to structure my curriculum, how to do the marketing, how to speak, how to do this, how to do that, I was instilling in my own self-doubt. And I started to kind of be like, okay, I better not do it like that. I'll do it like what they say they do it. But inside of me, the very, very subtle heart of who I am was saying to me, Jonathan, you've got this, buddy. You know what you're doing. You were born to be a teacher. Follow your instincts, buddy. Do it. Follow your instincts. And so when I did Rapid Tax Savings Formula 2.0, I dropped all the wouldas, shouldas, and couldas. I dropped all the you need to, you have tos. And I did it my way. I think there's a song out there. I did it my way, right? Like I did it my way. The way that Jonathan does it, his authentic self, the way he presents himself, his way. The teacher that he was born to be ever since the day he can remember, and since the day I can remember. 5, 6 years of age, wanting to be a teacher. I stepped into that and I owned it. And as a result, we had a great, successful 5-week course. Then it got better. You see, other teachers say to me, other coaches say to me, have an event. And I thought to myself, yeah, that's great. But I want to keep adding value to my students. Why? Because they're sitting right there in front of me, already in love with me, already wanting and dedicating themselves to me so that I can continue to empower them and to educate them and to give them the knowledge so they can step into their confidence and into what I kept telling my students, to step into the badass CEO of everyone of who they are, who they were born to be. This is what I did in my class. And then I threw together a 2-day event. I had had no idea what I was doing. Luckily, my other coaches had given me some ideas. It's how you structure it. It's what you do. Do. But I knew in my heart, my intuition was telling me to host another 2-day event with my current students and show them the how-to. You spent 5 weeks, Jonathan, educating them, giving them theory, answering their questions like what are the right entities to pick from, and why do you choose a corporation over a partnership? Why do you take the time to become an LLC versus a sole proprietorship? To explain to them the tax benefits of each and every single one of them. To go over the myriad of deductions that are available to every business owner. I'm telling you right now, hundreds and thousands of these are possibilities. To show them the how-tos. And I realized I wanted to take them on a further journey. So I created the Live 2-Day event, which now we call Total Financial Happiness Mastery, which we do now open to the public. But my intuition said to keep it private for my students, which I did. We had another great, successful 2-day intensive training. And what I got out of that was 2 things. One, it was a success. Fear not. Fear thee not. For having no fear brings nothing but opportunities and possibilities. Fear is the shit that holds us back. Fear is the thing that creates the barriers of entry into what is possible. So I did. And the second thing I got out of it was now we're launching again Rapid Tax Savings Formula 3.0. It starts February the 8th at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Rapid Tax Savings Formula. It's starting February the 8th, 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time to 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. I did this because I want to help so many of you who watch my show, who listen to my show, who are entrepreneurs. And you've got the same questions that everyone comes to me for. So I did it again, Rapid Tax Savings 3.0. And here's the other thing. I'm also automatically giving all my students access, of course, to the 2-day live event, Total Financial Happiness Mastery. My intuition told me to do that, and I did. My intuition tells me to do this with you right now, to just share openly with you. My intuition has stopped me from getting into car accidents. What has your intuition helped you with? Our intuition is, as my mom would say, God speaking to us. She'd say that. Hallelujah, the Lamb of God. He is guiding you, guiding us. I have to tell you guys something. Be naked. God, Jesus, Christianity used to be a huge trigger for me. And the reason is actually pretty simple, I think. And that is because, unfortunately, when I realized I was gay at 12 years old, I knew that this faith that was instilled in me, thank goodness for my mother for helping with that, would at the same time reject me. And so I felt like, why would I put my effort into something that does not accept me for who I am? It would take many, 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 many decades later for me to reconcile my Christian faith with my other spiritual practice, which I now call my Buddhist practice. It was through Buddhism, actually, that I learned to hyper tune in to my intuition. It was through Buddhism that I realized that every single one of us right now in this moment are all experiencing our own unique road as we travel. God, Buddhas, our higher eminent beings, ourselves, inner lights. All of that is showing up for each of us differently, based on our unique needs, based upon what our intuition is trying to guide us and to pull us along on this path of life, so that we can step into the power of who we are. I know for me, I finally have discovered that I was sent here to just simply love myself. That's it. To love myself. It's so hard to love yourself. Did you know that? You probably can agree. It's so hard to look in the mirror in your eyes and say to yourself, I love you. Try it. It's so easy to look in the mirror and say, oh, look at this hair receding line. It's so hard to speak positively to yourself. You know, it's kind of like RuPaul says, right? If you don't love yourself, who in the hell is going to love you? I remember being in my 20s, and I never understood what that meant, that phrase, right? You had to love yourself before someone else could love you. I didn't understand that. And now I do. There's only one person in this life. Only one person in this life who loves you unconditionally. And that is your inner light. We can say God. Some of us need to say that. That's who represents that to us, is God. For some, we say the Buddha. For some, it's other gods, other deities. But singular pointedly, it all comes back to you. When we love ourselves, as I said in my very first book that I was contributed to, Game Changer, I think, volume number 4, I wrote a passage in that. And at the very end, I said, when we accept ourselves for who we are in all of its glory, in all the moments that are not so glorious, this is when no words, no actions can strip away our power, can prevent us from fulfilling our life's purpose. And when we do that, it opens up an opportunity for us to listen to our intuition, to feel what is going on around us, to step into the vibration at which we're vibrating at, so that we can hone in on it, own it, express it, share it, become it. That is the end. My phone just rang, caught me off guard, but yes, Mom, I'm so glad that you are watching my show. Thank you, Lawanda, too. I see my mom saying, very, very true, son. In the spirit of God that leads you on to where you are going, don't fear. God is watching over you. The universe is telling you about what you're asking from him. Blessings. My son, Jonathan, you are who you are. Yes, amen. Thank you, Mom. You're one of my number one fans, plus many more I have out there. Lawanda, thank you. Woohoo, Jonathan is on. Yes, ma'am, I am. So that's really my message in a weird, really roundabout way. First, about 1099s. Who do you control? They're an employee. If you don't control them, but they do the job, you can issue them a 1099, due by the 31st of January, for payments over $600, unless it's a lawyer. And, of course, following our intuition, tuning in to the universe, tuning in to who we are, and allowing ourselves to follow what our intuition is telling us. Follow your gut. Follow what your inner voice is telling you to do. I have to also tell you guys real quick. So I've been binge watching Survivor. So Netflix, I think, has like season 23 or 26 online. So I vaguely remember it back in the days before streaming. Gives you my age, I guess, a little bit. And I wasn't really into it, so I didn't really watch it very much. So anyway, so we watched this episode, we binge watched one season, and I'm hooked, like hooked. So I think for the last 3 months, I've been watching Survivor every single day. And in fact, it's kind of replaced my video gaming, not my bike riding, but definitely my video gaming. And I watch episodes of the Survivor show over and over and over and over. I mean, I think I'm season 17 now, I think. And there's something common that I've noticed in all of the players who play. And for those of you who don't know what Survivor is, they take, I think it's 20 people or 16 people, something like that, 18 people, I can't remember. And they turn around and they put you on an island where you got to survive, and then you get voted out and things of this nature. And it is probably the ultimate human experience, because you're manipulating not only those around you, but others around you, around them, right, to create these complex web of survival so that you can outwit, outsmart, outsurvive your competitor. I'm afraid to go on that show because I think I would be that player that's loved and despised at the same time. I'm just saying. Like, I would be the guy that would be looking at you and going, I swear on my mother's soul. And then looking at the other guy and being like, I swear on my mother's soul. Like, I would play this game to outwit, outsmart, and outlast. I totally would, right? But there's something common I noticed in the players. And that is when someone gets voted out, if you pay attention to the events that transpired before that they show us, because let's be real, they're building a storyline, all right? And character development and all the complex shit that goes on when you watch this stuff. But I digress. If you pay attention to the people that get voted out, it is because they had self-doubt. They began to doubt themselves, which then turns around and pollutes their own thinking beyond themselves. And then they begin to doubt the guy next to them, the gal next to them. Is my friend Harry going to really follow through with what he said he's going to do? Is Monica really going to do what she said she was going to do, right? And so then all of a sudden, the self-doubt takes place. And then next thing you know it, you're voted out. Self-doubt kicks in, boom, you lose. That's true in business. That's true in your personal life. The moment that we have self-doubt, it can begin to destroy the fabric of what we're trying to accomplish. And that is more money and more profit. Because at the end of the day, the only reason why we're in business together is to make a profit. And even Uncle Sam understands this principle. The reason why we all went into business for ourselves is to make money. So I'm going to tell you guys right now, my last closing statements. I am not ashamed to tell the world that I do care about making a profit. I am not ashamed to tell the world that I am in it to make money. Don't get me wrong. With all of that comes all the other amazing things that come out of it. The ability to be of service to you, the ability to educate you, the ability to share my knowledge and my expertise with you so that you too can get into the same boat and you too can sail away with me under the golden stars and into the possibilities of what is possible in your life. Greater profits, greater money, and legally less taxes in your life. I'm Jonathan Bengal here with Naked Tax Talk. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode. If you liked what I've had to share today, please hit the subscribe button, the alert button. If you're not already a subscriber, please, if you want, you can share today's episode. Perhaps someone out there can also receive the same benefit. I also want to let you guys know that if I caught your ear and you were like, ooh, what is this he's talking about? Rapid tax savings formula. It's a 100% totally taxable deduction for you in 2021 in your business. What that means is that Uncle Sam is going to reduce your tax bill by a percentage on my class. Come in, be part of the Bengal experience. Invest in yourself. Invest in who you are. Listen, entrepreneurs are special. We are special. We are special beings sent here to this earth. We are special because every morning we wake up determined, motivated, and excited to go out there and make money. That is the truth. So the way we do this even more is to get into my program, Rapid Tax Savings Formula. 5-week course plus a 2-day live event with intense training. Starts February the 8th, 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time to 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time for 5 weeks, every Monday. So it's not every day, it's just the Mondays. Last but not least, if you're interested and you would like to know how to shred your taxes legally overnight, I've got 7 ways in which you can do that. I'm going to share that right now in the comment section. Click on it. It'll take you to it. You can get a copy of it. With that, I want to give thanks to you, my viewers, my listeners, for making this a possibility. Thank you. And one last thing. I forgot. I got to give a big thank you to my very first company, JB Financial, my tax practice, my tax preparation and tax planning company. Because without them, I could not be here to have this conversation with you on Naked Tax Talk. So I've got to give JB Financial, LLC, a big shout out. Thank you for sponsoring Naked Tax Talk. Until then, just remember, it is about mucho, mucho, mucho dinero. Until then, have a great evening, day, or whenever